Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me. And it's brilliant to see people from all over the place. And I'd really like to know what you're doing, because I've promoted this a little bit outside what you know to be my comfort zone, for the reason that what I'm going to talk about tonight is about entrepreneurship. And this is really relevant to anyone, no matter what business they're trying to set up. So it's a little bit more general than, I've got people in the waiting room here. Okay. Join two. Okay. It's a little bit more general than you would normally expect from me. But what I'm going to talk about is the 8 critical factors that I feel that you need to think about before you start a skincare business or any sort of business. I'm so skincare orientated, but before you start a business. So I realize that there are someone here that don't know me. So I'm Melinda Coss, and I have been coaching new entrepreneurs, and particularly skincare entrepreneurs, for the last, well, when you were in nappies, probably for at least 25 years. So I've worked with people, a lot of people in the cosmetic industry, but I've also worked with chocolate makers and course creators and all sorts of other people. So I've got a pretty broad view from my own experiences, because I've set up 3 what became major businesses, which all started as hobbies myself. And also, probably more importantly, I've had to work intensely with my one-to-one clients, and I understand their pain, and I understand the tripwires that they fall over. And that's really what I want to do. I want to share with you all my experience of coaching, and I want to do it in an hour. So I'm not going to be repeating myself. I've got a lot of content here for you. So let me get straight into this. I'm going to share my screen. What I'm going to do is I'll talk you through the 8 critical factors that you need to think about. And then there'll be space for questions, which you can put your hand up and ask me. And then after that, I'm going to talk to you. Actually, the questions will be at the end. I'm going to tell you, this is a webinar. You are expecting it. I am going to tell you about a brand new group program that I'm launching, where I will hold your hand through all of the stuff we're going to talk about today. But let's talk about that later. Let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Okay, so I want to share my screen. Oh, share screen. Okay. Let's get the webinar up. Okay. Slideshow. Play from start. Okay. So the big question is, where are you now? Because it's an extraordinary times and very scary times, and change is happening 30 times than it did 2 years ago, and that speed of change is going to increase dramatically. Now, I raise that point because for those that are taking a leap and thinking about taking a leap and leaving their job, this really is the time to do it, because it's the one opportunity you're going to get to take total control of your life, rather than be dependent on jobs that are at the very least uncertain. And also because we have this huge opportunity with the internet, which I didn't have when I started any of my business. So when I've been working with entrepreneurs, I have found almost without exception that their success is dependent on who they are, not what they're selling. Okay, so that's interesting for you to know, because if you're if you've got any kind of desires to become an entrepreneur, you're probably starting with a great idea or a great product, or perhaps you're thinking that you want to turn a hobby into a business, whatever. But the fact is that it's the implementation of that idea, and it's your ability to take it forwards and to take the right steps to ensure that it's going to be profitable, that are really, truly important. So this is going to take us to my first important factor, and that is, do you know yourself? Do you know what you want? And do you understand your real situation? Now, as an entrepreneur, you're probably born with a million ideas in your head. And I'm sure you've thought of many of them in the past that you think, oh God, I'd really like to turn this into a business. But your ability to actually do that is quite separate. So if hands up everybody who's an ideas person here, who thinks they're an ideas person. Yeah, okay. So you get lit up by great ideas. How many have at least 3 or 4 ideas a day? Yeah. Yeah, I bet many of you do. Now, the best bit of advice, because I'm certainly like that, and the best bit of advice I was given was by the entrepreneur Simon somebody or other, who runs Yo Sushi. And I went to a conference he gave, and he said, if you have an idea that really lights you up and that you really get excited about, put it away for 3 weeks and then come back to it and see if that excitement is still there. And that was probably the best bit of advice I've ever had, because we get wrapped up in the moment. We can go out and do an awful lot of work on something, and then we can lose enthusiasm for it, or we can want to go off in a different direction. So that's my first little golden gem for you, is sit on an idea for 3 weeks before actually doing anything about it. Now, it's also incredibly important to know what you want. And more, the clients that come to me want to do good. They want to do good in the world. They want to be totally ethical. They want to sell natural, brilliant products. I mean, the desire to do that in difficult times is really increasing all the time. And my piece of advice around that is that it's much easier to do good when you've got food in your belly and money in the bank. So I think what you have to do to be a successful entrepreneur is to really prioritize profit. And I'm not trying to take away from your passion. There's no reason why you can't develop a great idea and a good for everybody idea along with your business. But you have to, at all times, have a really hard-headed approach to your business, because it is hugely competitive out there. So profit comes first, as far as I'm concerned. Okay. What's your real situation? Now, what is this business going to cost you in terms of who you are, what you personally enjoy doing, your family, what you want? Give that some thought, and also think about whether you want this business to grow and to replace a full-time income, or whether you're happy to have it as a side gig, because the strategy that you go for, the choice that you make will dictate what strategy you should go for. And the strategies are actually quite different. If you want to build a big business, it's mainly about delegation. It's a shedding operation. It's every day you have to unload work. The work will increase and come in, and you've got to be able to unload it. So are you somebody that needs to be in control? I mean, can you compromise? Can you let go? What sort of person are you? And what's your real situation? I mean, do you have somebody has a speaker on? Would you mute yourself, or Jane mute everybody? I don't know who that is. Who's not on mute? There we go. Don't know how I mute everyone. All right. So I'm going to go back. Whoops. Sorry. I've lost my flow. Hang on. Okay. Yeah, now, can you really do this? Every business is going to cost money. Now, you've either got money or you're prepared to take a risk. Whichever way you can do this, but you have to understand where you are. You cannot build a business without any money. So somehow or other, you're going to have to get it. Have you got the ability to do that or the wish to do it? And also timing, how much time are you committed to in terms of family, in terms of other work? How much time can you put into this business? And again, if you want to do this part-time, that's fine, but your business model has to take account of that. Otherwise, you're going to very, very quickly get into overwhelm, and the whole thing will just be an upsetting experience rather than a profitable one. Okay, so the second important factor, and something that you really should do, is to verify your idea before you invest money in it. Now, does everybody know what I mean by that? Ideally, you want to create what's called an MVP, which stands for a minimal viable product. And you do that if you're thinking of offering a service, you can do that by creating a small part of your service and offering people the opportunity to try it for nothing. With skincare, which I know a lot of you, despite my best efforts, are in, I've had clients come to me and who've set up manufacturing deals, who are ready to go with their range, who've invested a fortune, and they haven't actually tested their idea. So you can make samples of your product at home. You can get an idea of your branding. You can mock up your product, and you can put it out there and spend very, very little on it. But by doing that, you're going to get a reaction to it. And if any changes need to be made, especially with your branding, you'll be in a position to make them. And also, you can get proper feedback from people. It used to be a classic entrepreneurial trick was to advertise your goods or services before you'd even made them. And I'll tell you a little story here about something that I did. Many years ago, I came up with a shampoo that you could use on needlework, because I was working in the craft industry then. And it was a little sachet of a shampoo called Purity, and you could wash your much loved, much labored over needlework in it. And I pre-sold, before I had somebody come up with the solution for me, what the liquid was. And I pre-sold 250,000 sachets of this needlework shampoo before I spent a penny getting it produced. Okay, so business is about selling. It's about people giving you money for your products or your services, and you need to test the water to see. It's all very well family and friends liking your products, telling you how wonderful that they are, but the real test is when people will put their hands in their pockets and buy them. And you need to find a model for doing that. And again, that's something that I hope to do individually with everyone that signs up for the program before you start investing, because you can waste an awful lot of money going in the wrong direction. And also, just because you like something or your friends like it, it doesn't mean it's going to work in a big way for you. Okay. All right. What else have I put down for verify? So talk to potential buyers, take it into shops. I mean, if you're making handbags, you can take them into a store, get feedback from shop buyers, get feedback, put pictures out on the internet. Don't be scared of sharing what you're doing or your idea. There's a really strong belief in people that everybody is out there to rip them off. And honestly, particularly in skincare, that isn't the case. It is very easy to tweak a formula and copy it. All you can do to protect your idea is trademark your name and copyright your idea or your service if it is particularly original. But use generosity to feed your business. I've always found in life, and I'm very old, so I've had a lot of life, that when I share ideas with people, what I get back is 100 times more valuable than what I lose from that experience. Okay. All right. So the third point is, before you start, ask yourself how you're going to scale up your business. So are you starting this business as a hobby, as something that you love doing? I mean, again, I've got to go back to skincare, but very, very often I have people coming to me who have a passion for making formulas. And the truth is that you probably need 5 or 6 formulas. And then it's all about the hard business stuff. It's all about the selling, and it's all about the marketing. So quite often, if you want to turn a hobby into a business, you're going to lose the pleasure of that hobby. Again, I'll use me as an example, but I've built businesses in knitwear and I've built businesses in soap making, both of which started as hobbies. But the day I decided or made a decision to set them up as businesses, I knew I had to stop knitting and I knew I had to stop making soap, because my business could not afford to have me doing tasks that I could give to other people. Your job as a business owner is to manage, to grow, and to market. That is your job as a business owner. I mean, this isn't new. I mean, I don't know how many people here have gone into one job and then found that with an expertise, and then found that they'd been turned into a manager and their job became people managing. I can't see the chat box. What's going on here? Hang on. There we are. Has anybody been in that situation where they've found themselves doing a job and then found that the skill set has had to completely change as they got promoted? Nobody's responding to that, but that is the case. It's a case with the job. Let me go back. You can see I'm non-techie here. You have to bear with me. Okay, so in the first question about how you know yourself, if you've made a decision that this is just a sidekick for you, then that's fine. But if you want to turn this into a business that's going to bring you a substantial income or replace the income that you regularly get in your day job, it has to provide you, the idea has to provide you with a scalable model. And that could mean that you build a team. It could mean an in-house team, an out-house team. It could mean that you outsource manufacture of things that you're currently making yourself. It could be, if you're providing a service, that you outsource social media, whatever. But as I said before, business is about shedding, and scaling up is about shedding. The other thing is that if you hope to get investors involved, you really have to show a plan that scales up. If a business is seen to be dependent on one individual, there are very, very few investors that would take the risk, because what happens if you get ill? So that's something that you need to think very hard about. Are you going to have, if you're making things, are you going to have the space to expand? And think realistically, start at the end. Let's take your first year. Decide what you need to earn in that first year, what you would be happy earning in that first year, and then work backwards and determine how many products you've got to sell or make in order to reach that target. And if you're making products, then look at how much space you'll need to carry the stock that you're going to sell. So, I mean, it's quite classic with soap makers that they normally start off with little hobby soap cutters and making things in very pretty stainless steel mixers. But the truth is that to make a lot of soap, you're going to need big equipment. So you want to invest right at the beginning in it, and it's often cheaper than the hobby equipment, but you want to invest right at the beginning in equipment that will make you enough product to fulfill that target of yours. Yeah, so there's no point. You can grow organically, of course you can, but if you're not going to reach your destination, or you haven't equipped yourself and planned in order to reach that destination, then by the end of your year, you'll have worked extremely hard and you won't have any money. Okay. So also, scaling up requires people skills. So you're going to need to build a team. Don't make that team your friends. Business and friends do not go well together. It's really, really hard to fire a friend, and you might have to make those decisions. And you're also going to need to step into your leader zone. So that's about exuding confidence and knowing what you're doing. So you need to know a little bit about every area of your business before you outsource it. Okay, so there's two tools that are on my webpage, which I'll just use as an example. There's a cash flow tool, and there's a sales forecasting tool. And those two tools were the best tools that I ever had. They were the most useful things that I ever had, because I am not a numbers person, but they made me actually sit down and think really, really hard about where my sales were going to come from, what my profitability was, all the things that I wasn't comfortable thinking about. So these are things that you are going to have to do when you scale up your business. If there are areas that you identify that you're not strong in or you don't enjoy doing, then you've got a budget to take someone on to do it for you. So I'm not saying if you can't do numbers, you can't build a business, because you can. You just have to put your business head on and know that those jobs have got to be done, know how important they are, and then outsource them. And don't just put them under the carpet and get them lower and lower on your priority list. Have we got any questions? That's your first three. Any questions coming in on what I'm saying? Anybody? You just type your question into the box. I'll just give it a look. We've got a lot of yeses there. Anybody frightened of scaling up? Who's thinking about just running a little business, and who actually wants to make a serious business out of what they're doing? No one going to tell me? Okay. Okay, so we've got side job, serious. Okay, side job, serious, small. Wants to be able to quit a day job. Great. Serious. Very serious. I like that, Josephine. Quit her day job. Great. Okay. Suzanne, serious. All right. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. Worried how I get investors for each step, Bronwyn. Bronwyn, I cover that in the course. Rose has an exit plan from day job is business. Great. I'm glad to hear you've got an exit plan. The next exit plan you're going to need is from business back to doing whatever you want to do in life. Exit plans are really important. Okay. Bronwyn, there is more money out there than there are good ideas. So don't worry about getting investors. It's about it really is about how you approach them. And that's something that I'm red hot on. Rupak, I'm not going to give you a short overview, but there will be a recording available and you can catch up there. Okay. So the next point is, how can you set a solid base for your business? So look, your financial security is the most important thing for you and your family. And I don't suggest to anybody that they take any risks around that, or at least that they compromise that in any way. So a lot of this is about self-belief. If you have an idea and you have verified it, this is another big point of verification, you need to stand back and say, is it worth me getting a loan to fund this? And you need to make a decision based on that reality. Among your verification should also be a profitability model to find out if, as I say, how much you've got to sell in the first year, what your profit's going to be, all those basic things before you take risks. So calculated risks, every entrepreneur takes calculated risks. If you've got money in the bank and it's just sitting there and you really believe and you've done your homework and you think this idea can work, then use that money, because it ain't no good to you sitting in the bank. All right. I would suggest that you create a personal budget and that you write down absolutely everything that you need critically to spend to get from week to week, and make sure that that is covered, or make sure that your business projections will see that covered. What also comes into this category is the legal standing of your company. So wherever you are in the world, you need to check what insurances you need, what company structure you need to set up. You need to open a business bank account, which is separate. In the UK, you might want to open a limited company if you're buying a lot of things. These are obviously the tools for setting up a solid base for your business. But in addition, if you're planning on doing this alongside another job, or you've got a lot of family commitments, you need to structure your time. You need to learn how to structure your time. You cannot afford to be a people pleaser. You need to make sure that your family are getting enough of your time to keep everybody happy, that there's going to be harmony at home. All of these things I'm covering in some depth in the program, how you actually manage your time. There are lots of tricks and tips in there for that. And also, I would call part of creating a solid base is knowing what your route to market is. So you don't have a business without customers for your products or your services. And it's really important before you start to know precisely where you're going to sell your products. And it's not as simple as saying online or in stores or at markets. You want to drill down. The cash flow forecasting tool I give you gets you to actually drill down on this. Anybody that doesn't have these two golden spreadsheets, they will be given to you in the program. But it's also a different strategy. If you want to sell online, there will be different sets of expenses to if you want to sell to stores. So a solid base also includes a clear idea of your route to market, at least to start with. I mean, nothing is fixed. It can change, but you need a starting point that you know you can manage and that you will feel can give you the return that you're looking for. Can you deal with your demons? Who out there has demons? Tell me what they are. Tell me what I mean by demons. All right, Clara, I'm so afraid of getting a loan. Okay, you've heard what I just said. Demons, come on, what's your biggest one? Let's see. Fear of failure. procrastination, imposter syndrome, energy level that fluctuates. That's interesting, Lenny. I think we all have that. You've got to work with it. And yes, fears are a big problem for people, but I would always suggest, again, if you're going to delegation, that's interesting, Rose. It's interesting that the fact that you recognize that in yourself is a big tick from me. But I would, again, a lot of people come to me and they just jump in. They just jump and they sort of muddle through. And I try and avoid getting people to do that because you can waste an awful lot of time and energy and money doing that. But it's a great idea to have a plan B. So what's the worst that can happen? Could you get another job? What are you frightened of? It's more of a risk to have a job and be working for someone else than it is to be working for yourself. But it's about building that power in you that makes you feel confident to do this. And if your idea is a good one, and if you can see, because you've worked out on paper, how you're going to sell it, where your customers are going to come from, how much money you're going to make in a year, you're not risking anything. The businesses that fail are those that go out there floundering without a clear plan or a clear strategy of how they're going to achieve what they want to achieve. Okay. Did I write anything else under demons? Hold on. Oh, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. It's hiding. Yeah. So a little tip for you is to watch your language and use positive language. So instead of saying but, instead of saying, what have I put here? Hang on. I had all this worked out for you. Well, thoughts become things. So what you want to do is delete the word can't from your dictionary. And the other thing that you should do is when you ask people for advice, don't be a but person. If you ask but, B-U-T, not B-U-double-T. But if you ask people to help you or to give you advice, don't look for the problem in their solution. Look at the solution to the problem. Okay? Because we do this. We become really defensive and we've got a clear idea. And if it's not working, sometimes it's really, really hard to take a fresh view of something. But all of this can be learnt, and it comes with time. When you have a small success, celebrate it. Build a bank of successes. They don't have to be big steps. Celebrate every small step forward that you make, and the confidence just builds layer on layer. Procrastination of steps to get there because you get told you need a lot of money. You do need a lot of money. I mean, it depends on the business. Bronwyn, it sounds as if someone needs to look at your business product and your business model. And again, if you do some of the exercises I suggested before, you will see for yourself how much money you will need. You need to think things through. Don't just jump into things blindly. Okay, we've got an imposter syndrome. Well, we've all got that. I mean, okay. Let's get on to the next thing. So, can you manage your relationships? Does anybody have any fears about this? By relationships, I mean, can you manage your personal relationships while you're building a business? You know it's going to take you a lot of time. Can you network with people? Can you get out there and make connections? Because interestingly, one of your best routes to market, and Earl, who's on here, will know my feelings about this, is that who you know is often more valuable than your product and what you do. So as a sales tool, you want to make connections with people. One, because they're going to be business people and you need to be in that business zone. And two, because they may have connections that can help you. So you need to walk around with your antennae up and make connections and network with people. So networking is about building relationships. What else did I put on this? We've done that. Okay, so the other thing that you should do, and what helps a lot in terms of forming relationships, is give more than you take. So if you make connections with business people, connect with them because you want to offer them something, some sort of help, rather than because you want to sell them something. Because those sort of things usually come back to you tenfold. So be generous. The other thing is, if you give freely, people want to repay that in some way or another. And that's how you build solid business relationships. And the other thing that you need to do is hopefully form partnerships with people. So I've got a Facebook group that I'm creating for this course, and one of the reasons I'm doing it is because I hope there will be a lot of people doing different things, and they can actually cross promote. So go outside of your comfort zone and approach people that are providing things to your customer base, but not the same things that you're providing. So it might be, if you're selling jewelry, you might go to a handbag maker. If you're selling soap, you might go to someone that's doing skincare, but not soap, and form promotional partnerships with them. So you help them and they help you. But you need to build great, positive, solid relationships with business people, not with people who might be envious of what you're doing, might not have might want to do what you're doing, but not have the courage, because those situations can really damage your confidence. So the word is up level. You've got to up level everything that you do. And you have to learn how to say no to people. You have to set aside time for your family, and be very clear about the time that you've set aside for work, and not let anybody interfere with that. You have to really structure your life to build a successful business. Have I frightened anyone yet? Is anybody there saying, oh, no, I don't? Anybody scared stiff? Is anybody really scared to do this? Tell me in the chat box. Let's see what we've got here. Good. Okay. Good. Great. Okay. And the other question is, be realistic about the time this business is going to take. I mean, it's normal for a business not to begin being profitable for at least 3 years. If you're in skincare, it's going to take you a year to get your products made. Prepare for that. Don't fight it, just prepare for it. And if you're building a service business, you are going to need to spend time on social media, obviously. But again, I'm going to cover that. There are ways of creating a strategy that keeps you off the computer as much as possible. Again, we have all these phenomenal tools out there. So a lot of the things that used to take ages and ages to get together, you can now do very, very quickly. So the world is getting much simpler for us as entrepreneurs. But if you're planning to do this aside from a job, just don't expect too much from yourself. Expect that this project is going to take 4 or 5 years to build. I'm a great quit your job and jump in. But if you've got heavy responsibilities and you've worked out that you need to earn that money in your personal budget, then just prepare for this to be a slow cook. Okay. All right. And finally, and it's a big issue for a lot of people, you know, how do you feel about being visible and being consistent? Because in today's market, and especially if you're planning to sell online, visibility is really key. You need to pop up there constantly, or you need to have someone that's fronting your brand pop up there constantly, and you need to post consistently. Again, there are other ways of doing this rather than just selling on social media, which I'll again go into in the course. But if you're a real introvert and very shy, I mean, I've had people build skincare businesses and then come to me and say, can I do this without going online? Or can I do this without making videos? And the answer is, well, they don't have to be videos of you, but no, you can't, because that's where everybody does their shopping these days. So even if you're planning to sell to retailers, you are still going to need a big element of internet marketing, and that requires you to be visible and consistent. So be very honest with yourself about that fact. Okay, so who would like me to hold their hand while they do this? Anybody? Do you want to hear about this program of mine? Okay. All right. Now, the reason I've put this together is as I said, I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs and I've had a lot of experience myself. And I promise you, I have made every mistake that you haven't yet made but are going to make if you bungle through this on your own. And it's cost dearly. I mean, fortunately for me, in most of my businesses, I've managed to get investment very early on, so I wasn't risking the roof over my head. But there are so many huge costly mistakes and pitfalls and rocks in the road that you can trip over. And I just wanted to, in this program, make sure that you as business owners are starting from a really solid place. Okay, so this isn't about selling this program. This is about how you manage yourself and how you organize all the things that I've talked about before here. So it's a group program. Hang on, let me go back. It's a group program, and I haven't run a group program for years, and I don't know why. The last one I did was fabulous, and it's produced some amazing businesses. I think one of the reasons for that is because that group, if we get the right people together, that group energy is so valuable. So it's probably going to be my last group program, but whoops, no, 1 minute, what have I done? Hold on, I'm trying to get rid of you already, hang on. Okay, but this is what it contains. So there's 8 live working sessions, and I'm going to be very, very present with you on all these programs. I get a lot of people wanting one-to-ones with me who can't afford it. Well, this is your chance. You're going to get a lot of attention from me. So to start with, we're going to get you to do a really in-depth self-assessment. So we know what the tripping blocks are. We're going to get you being really clear with yourself as to what you want to do, what you don't want to do for this business, and work out a business model for you individually. Secondly, we're going to look at verification processes in the second module, which will change according to what your business is, but we're going to actually get you to create the verification model and get it out there. So what I want to do here is I'm going to give you tasks, I'm going to give you challenges. So you're going to, by the time this program is finished, I'm hoping that you will have done the work that we're going to talk about. Now, the third is getting all the pieces in place to create a solid base. And again, I'm going to keep you accountable for that, and there'll be challenges. And then we're going to have a deep conversation about mindset and give you some support to eliminate the fear and the procrastination. And so don't procrastinate over this program, and the imposter syndrome. Let me help you with that. I've been there. Many of my clients have been there. There are ways to get through it. Oh, 1 minute. I hope you can see the slideshow. I seem to be play from current slide. Okay. Everybody see that? Okay. So there's 8 modules. We're going to have you reaching out to the right people and networking. And I'm going to train you in how to talk to manufacturers, how to manage relationships with buyers, all those kind of pieces. We're actually going to do it. Okay. Then we're going to talk about strategies for time management to so that you use your available time productively. So a lot depends how much time you've got, but we're going to keep you out of overwhelm and accountable for getting things done. And then we're going to create a strategy for your social media and some ideas that will help you not be stuck to your computer. All right. And then we're going to talk about scaling up, because having put all this work into this business, you need to build it so that you can sell it, or so that you can give it to your kids to inherit. You don't want to do this. It's easier to run a big business than it is to run a small business. So once you've got all this solid business know-how behind you, it would be a terrible shame not to scale up, but at least you'll know how to do it. Okay. Now, the program comes with spreadsheets I was talking about, workbooks, PDFs, challenges, and any resources that I can give you. You'll have daily access to me for questions. If you're in trouble, I'll be there on the group. I've got nothing else to do apart from my puppy dog and my 4 cats and my chickens. I will be sitting on the Facebook group waiting for your questions. And there will be a dedicated private Facebook group where you can network with your peers and hopefully form some good partnerships. Now, I've said here you'll get lifetime access to recorded sessions. I can't offer that at 74. What you're going to get is all the materials will be downloadable, including the sessions, so that you can keep anything and you've got it for life. And then, because I am absolutely passionate in the group energy and the fact that I want you to be on these sessions live, for those of you that attend all 8 sessions live, I'm going to give you a 90-minute one-to-one session at the end to put the whole piece together. And the value for that on its own is £900 at the moment. So it's not given lightly, but it's just important that you make yourself visible to the group. And I think this is the link to the group. Jane, can you put that in the chat box for everyone if she's still here, or perhaps I can? Hang on. Oops, no, I can't. Hang on. Whoops. Oh, well, let's stop sharing. Jane, perhaps you could put the link in the chat box. Oh, I got a nice anchor. Thank you so much for your kind words. I've got a couple of my clients are on here, actually. I don't know what more they want from me, but there you go. There you go. So she's saying that she's worked with me. I blush here. One-to-one and in a group. And she says it's been invaluable. And she launched a successful skincare line. And without me, oh, I can't read this, it's cringy. She said she would have launched a brand with a weak and ordinary identity. And hopefully I'll stop you doing that. Although this isn't so much about this particular program. For that, you really want my branding program. But if you want something original angle on what you're doing, this is about managing yourself and managing your business. Okay. Let me put the link up. I don't think Jane's put it up. HTTPS. Oops, 3 T's in there. And would you like to put some questions together for me that I can help you with? melindacoss.com. Let's underscore ditch underscore. Let's ditch the day job. Oops. I hope that's right. Let me just click on it, make sure it comes up. Oh, page not found. Hold on. It would help if I knew the link to my own program. Hang on a minute. Oh. All right. I'm back with you. There you go. Okay, so have I got any questions from you guys? Tell me what you think. Tell me if any of that was useful to you, or if you've thought of it all before. Tell me about it. We could put them, you can put your hands up and you could actually talk to me now. No questions? So who was surprised by anybody? Who hasn't thought about some of this stuff? Thank you, Earl. Was it useful? How will you know if your clients are what? Who put that? That's a rude word. Bronwyn. How will you know if our clients are... What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. How will you know if our clients are products? Put the whole question again in the box. So who's setting up? Tell me who's setting, put your hand up. Who's setting up a business right now? Oh, yeah. You see, how can let me get the view back. Claire, let's go back to the gallery. Okay. You won? All right, we've got a few hands up. And who's just thinking about it? I'd like to know what's stopping you. Josephine? Have you found the money, Josephine? In the process? Great. Anybody want to talk to me? Tara, where's Tara? Tara, talk to me. Where is she?
Yes. Oh, sorry, I'm here.
Okay. But tell me all.
I have this has been something I've been wanting to do for way too many years than I would like to admit, but I was a Formula Botanica graduate, background as an RN in skincare and dermatology. And I've always just kind of wanted to be my own boss and build something that is going to help other people. But I've always had a very, very demanding day job. And, my day job is so demanding that sometimes, no matter how bad I want this, I just am not always able to dedicate the time that it really takes, to make it all happen. So I've been getting there small steps at a time, slowly but surely. I've saved money over the years. My husband is completely invested in supporting it and wanting to partner in this and make it all happen. But I just wish that I could quit my day job before I had but before the business is actually kind of taking off, just so I feel like I could get it on the ground running a whole lot better and a whole lot quicker if I didn't have my day job kind of hanging over my head at the same time.
Okay, so it sounds to me like what would help, I mean, apart from setting aside a particular block of time which you just totally focus on your business,
Mm-hmm.
you've just got to be really ruthless, and say, right, 3 hours on a Wednesday I'm doing this, and not do anything else, and not let anybody interrupt you doing it. But what
Mm-hmm.
sounds to me that would be really good was the MVP, was setting aside, creating a minimum viable model and doing all the marketing pieces around there, thinking through who you can approach with it, who you can sell it to. I don't know what your products are, but
Mm-hmm.
because by doing, you see, if you can prove to yourself that these products will sell,
Mm-hmm.
that's going to
And
give you.
I feel like I think that I have actually already done that. So I have a line of 5 products. I've given it freely to friends and family and neighbors. And my opinion is giving something free to someone. If I got something for free and I didn't like it, I'm probably not going to ask for it again. Like, thanks, I appreciate it, but I'm not going to keep going back to the person and begging for more. But I've had everybody come back begging for more. And I mean, I've given them time and time and time and time and time again the same products for
Okay,
free.
so how many? Okay, but how many people are you talking about that you've given product to? Approximately.
Um, I approximately 20.
Okay, so what you've got to do is make up 500 little bottles
Mm-hmm.
and get them out there, offer them out there to people online in
Okay.
exchange for postage, maybe. I mean, have you
Mm-hmm.
got a website? I don't know how far you've got. You've got a website?
I have a website built. It's just password protected. It's not finished yet. It doesn't have all my products on it, but it's
You could
it's there and I'm paying for it.
create a Facebook page to do this.
Uh-huh.
um, I mean, again, I'll cover all this. This is about creating a personal verification model. I need to know a lot more about you and your products. But this is a danger when you give it to 20 people and you get a good response, to think, there's 6.8 billion people you can reach online. So
Mm-hmm.
you've kind of got to identify exactly where your customer base lies, what niche it lies in, who these people are that you're going to sell it to, and where you can reach them. Or
Mm-hmm.
look around at your contacts and see somebody that can help you. But I would call verification 500 people, not 20 people.
Okay. Okay. That's great to know.
But you can do that. You can do that by getting sachets made.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a lot of stuff. What they have to get is a small sample of your product, a visual of your branding, and a sense of your story and what this brand is about, and why what makes it special, why yours rather than somebody else's.
Mm-hmm.
So again, all of this stuff actually comes under my branding program, but the management of you in this time would come under the program that I'm just launching.
Got it. Awesome. And then when you're doing it like a viable test like that, what result are you looking for? Like, are you looking for all of those 500 people to give you good feedback, and then you're good to go and
I,
launch?
I don't
Or if you
think,
have bad news, is it just like, okay,
no,
back to the
I
drawing
don't
board?
I don't think so at all. I mean, if 10 people come back and say it's brought me out in a rash, you've got a problem.
Mm-hmm.
But you put together a questionnaire about the specific things that you want to know about it. And a lot of it's about branding, and about, well, price they'll lie. It's you want the majority to come back, and at that point you offer them a discount to get the full size product.
Okay.
What you offer them. I mean, that's the other thing you can do. You see, you can if you send out samples, and it seems like a big investment, but it isn't. It's, you know, real feedback from real people using your products is hugely valuable to you. So you know, if you sent out free products with a discount voucher if they buy the next one, you'll know by whether they buy the next one whether it's a good product.
Oh, I like that idea. That's a good one. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Welcome. Anybody else? Anybody else got no other hands raised? You all gone shy on me? No. Rose. Rose, where's Rose? Let's find Rose. There you are. Asked to unmute. Okay. I can't hear you. You're muted.
I just want to check with you. I've just completed the entrepreneurship from Formula Botanica, and I'm sort of in the development stage, just trying out. I've got my idea. I know what my target customer. I know what I want. I've got the idea in my brain, but just trying out formulas, and so I don't know whether this will be suitable, like, or would you have to develop the product and before, you know?
Oh no, you don't have to develop the product. I'd rather you didn't develop the product. I'd rather you had no idea what you wanted to sell. Simply because this is about, I mean, what's your background, Rose?
So I'm a mental health nurse, and I currently work full time, but I love formulating.
So what do you want? Why do you want this business?
Like I said, it's my exit plan from the NHS, really. I want to have my own business.
We've talked before, haven't we? No?
I know we've chatted on, but we haven't really talked, And my long-term goal is to have my own business, work for myself. I don't so in the long term, like I said to you, is my exit plan. I've completed a 3-year entrepreneurship program, and I know what I want. I know my target customer. I haven't developed the program. I'm still like developing and trying, trying formulation and see what works best. And so I'm just thinking, do I need to, or do I just come in as a novice? I don't know nothing about business. I love formulating. That's all I can say, and I can formulate. But
how would you feel if you had to stop formulating?
Oh, that's my happy place.
Your happy place. That's a big problem for people. I mean, in any new business that's starting with a passion or an interest. And I know, you know, a lot of my clients, a lot of my one-to-one clients are Formula Botanica people, and their head is so in the pot. You know, I mean, they've spent months exploring all these wonderful oils and putting them together and seeing the magic they can produce. You know, but that's not what running a business is about. You know, it's a starting point, obviously, but I then have to spend several sessions getting them out of that mode, because, as I said at the beginning, you know, you only need a handful, maybe 10 products maximum, and then you're finished with your formulating. That's not what your business is about. You know, you could be a formulator. You don't have to build. I mean, building a brand is expensive. You don't have to build a brand. You could formulate for other people. You could build a formulation business. I could help you do that. You know, I mean, this is what the first module is about. It's about the mindset, getting to grips with what, given your space, time, resources, contacts, what you should actually be doing. Yeah. So, you know, I start with, what's your, you know, why are you doing this? Is it to, you know, and I like people that are doing it to make money, because I think money empowers you enormously to do anything that you could dream of doing. And I
think there's a pain point that I want to address. Like, there's a pain point for, like, so basically, I'm looking into going to hair care, for like Afro. I'm just going to be precise, for Afro sort of hair type, which is like really difficult to manage. It's the driest type of hair, and I've actually experienced that. and I want to address that.
Have a look at Botanics. She's a client of mine. She's doing exactly that. Have a look at what she's doing brilliantly. And it's a huge market and there's very few people in it.
Yeah, that's the reason why I want to go into that and to address that, because I've got a lot of people that are really struggling with this kind of hair tie, and it's really difficult. I've got that myself. And
that's EQUI Botanics. Have a look.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else here? Who's that? Claire? Bronwyn. Bronwyn. Okay. Talk to me.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. No, I was just sorry. I was being a bit of a smart ass because I was saying, how would you know if our product's shit if you're not experiencing it? But
how would you know if your customers?
Yeah, I've done my homework, my clients, because I'm a beauty therapist as well. So they've tested my products over many years and they all say they're great. So now I'm putting them online and wanting to get them out there more. But with the scaling, I kind of can relate to what Rose said, because we're the creative ones. So why can't we scale out everything else? We can do the production kind of small base and maybe make some emulsions in a factory, for instance. But I'm also an aromatherapist. So I kind of plan to do those blends and then add them to the bases or something like that.
So what you could do, well, I mean, I constantly have people coming to me who want to create fragrances for their brands. And aromatherapists that do that are incredibly expensive. You could have a base product range, and then you could have your own unique scents. You could offer a personalized. Why am I telling you all this? This is free.
Well, I've done that for many years, you see, but it's one-on-one. So now I've got to the stage where I've got particular ones for different conditions. I've married up botanical skin nutrition with aromatherapy and skin and self-care, and I'm ready to go. So I've worked it all out.
Are you planning on selling a fixed scent? You're not planning on doing the custom-made scents anymore. Is that right? Is there a fixed? Yeah. There's a fixed scent
conditions, but they can add that for their mood, mind, or whatever.
So they get a few small vials of oils that they can add to the base formula. Is that how it works?
That's how I was thinking. But some of
that legally you're in New Zealand. Can you do that legally there? Will they allow you to do that?
I can do it because I'm qualified.
Right. Okay.
But it's just how my problem over the years is it's very time consuming to then sell a whole lot of base products and a whole lot of mixtures. So I've kind of got it to, okay, how am I going to do this? So I've worked all that out. So obviously things like the eye products, they're customly blend, because I don't want to risk that.
So
There's one eye product.
What bit of the business are you worried about letting go of?
Probably the fear I have is aromatherapy sitting on the shelves of retailers and no one knows what the hell to do with it when I know it works really well. I guess that's the biggest fear.
Right. No. Could you started off by saying, why can't you do the creative things and have somebody else doing all the other stuff?
Yeah.
But you've got your range. You've created your range. What other creative things do you think? How much formulating do you think you're going to need to do?
Well, just ongoing. I was thinking about.
Well, then I would find some way of doing a personalized service. I mean, there's people in New York that do fantastic personalized perfume services, and charging a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
You sell them the base cream and you make them a personalized scent which they could use in an oil, a cream. You make them their signature scent. But you're going to have to charge a lot of money for it.
I've done the bleach, so yeah, it's ready to go, really.
You need a strategy. You need a firm strategy. But you can't, even if you do that, you need to have knowledge around all these other pieces that we've talked about. You know, you can't say, well, I don't like doing that, I'll give it to somebody else. If you want to run a business, this is what getting into your leadership zone means. It means that, yes, you're giving it out to somebody else, but you're red hot at spotting when somebody else is doing it wrong. And you can come down, you know, you've got to keep a grip of this business of yours. Now, whether what you're talking about is scalable, I'd need to spend a lot of time with you to find out. But there's certainly, you know, if you're happy to keep it small, it's got to be expensive, then it's your profile you've got to build, not the product's profile, it's your profile as the expert in that area. And that's about your social media. Does that help any?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? We're way over time here, but one more question if there is one. No? No. Okay, I will go and have my supper then. All right, so you'll get a link to the recording in case you missed anything. You've got the link to the program, I think. A minute. Let me stop sharing. Am I sharing? No, I'm not sharing. Oh, somebody's just arrived. Rachel D's just arrived. Okay, so go and check out the program, and it's going to be a small group. So if you want to join, it starts on the 8th of November. So I'm keeping the doors open until the 7th. And that will be it. But thank you all so much for coming.
Thank you. Thanks, Melinda.
Thank you.
Bye.
I'll go and get on with my Friday.
Thank you, Melinda.
Welcome.
Thanks, Melinda.